G'day guys, and welcome back to Zen. It's been a while since you heard from me, but I'm back with a Buell, an XB12R, model year 2008. The word is that the customer stopped riding because he had a clunking noise in the rear wheel. He parked it up for a while in the elements and it's running on one cylinder. Let's get it on the hoist and see what we can find. XB12s are based on an over-engineered Sportster engine as a running gear that have a reputation. Servicing is the same but different. They're a dry sump engine, so Eric Buell took it upon himself to engineer the oil tank into the swing arm. I'll point out more of the engineering hacks Buell managed to pull off as we go on into this job. For a job like this, I'm going to renew the air filter, front brake pads, rear brake pads, front wheel bearings, rear wheel bearings, oil filter with all the fluids, spark plugs, tyres and even the drive pump. Next, I'm going to drain the primary oil and service the clutch, which is more or less the same as a Sportster. Just dropping the oil filter, which is positioned much more sensibly compared to the Sportsters. The hub adjustment is the same as the Sportsters, quarter turn to half turn from snug with the cable slacked. Since the bike has been sitting, I want to completely lubricate the lever and cable before I set the free play. If you're a fan of this kind of content, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. You'd be helping a small business and a creator survive. Now with some fresh fluids in, I'm going to move on to the rear end and find out what's going on there. I first noticed the knocking when moving around the bike, and then I noticed the state of the belt. It's completely overstretched and skipping teeth just when I'm moving it around the shop. I know Buell belts are known for running loose, but not that loose. Another cool thing about the swing arm, apart from being an oil tank, it also has a removable piece, making swapping the belts super easy. There is no way to adjust the rear axle, so the belt uses a tensioner. The advantage of this is that you can keep the wheelbase very compact. And that is one extra collapsed wheel bearing. The rear axle should be easy to remove, but when the wheel bearing collapsed, I think it caused some kind of damage because this was such a struggle to pull out. I decided I needed a win, so I extracted the belt in some hope it might make the axle easier to come out. Spoiler, it doesn't. Just comparing the difference between the original Buell belt and the new S&S belt. Well, that's one extra destroyed wheel bearing. The only thing left is the outer race. Some of the alloy casting of the wheel hub is also missing, so let's hope that isn't going to be an issue later. The rear axle and spacer got chewed up, but I can save that on the lathe, I reckon. The axle mount on the swing arm has some gouges taken out, but that will have to just be cleaned up because there's no way we will replace this swing arm. Before I start tackling the bearings, I'm going to strip the tyre to shed some weight from the wheel. Knocking this race out is going to suck because there's not much to grip on, so I'll start by getting some heat and penetrating oil in there to loosen everything up. Jobs like this require some mechanical creativity you only get with experience. The solution is not always obvious, but if you watch closely, you can pinpoint the exact moment where I work out what to do. Back with the Motion Pro steering head bearing race remover tool. I reckon I can make this tool work. Might not be a perfect fit, but good enough for a trial and error approach. Worked perfectly. The other bearing can be punched out with ease. So since this wheel is almost impossible to replace, I'm going to try and save it. There is enough of a mounting surface still left there to press another bearing on, so let's just pack it in and send it. new bearings and a brand new Michelin Road 6 tyre. If you were paying attention, you might have noticed I forgot the bearing spacer in the rim. I noticed it before I balanced the rim and corrected myself, but it was off camera. Changing the brake pads while the wheel is out so I have easy access. With all that, the wheel can go back in. I'm happy with the alignment of the wheel with the bearings in there, so the belt can go back on too. Down Buell rear axles. The torque setting goes 35 Newton meters. Back it off 2 turns, and then 68 Newton meters. $69, dude. It's 60 for the pinch. I spent a night in the Buell forums to find out if running a Sportster belt on a Buell has any foul consequences. I couldn't find a definitive answer, so I made some calls to some colleagues, which also didn't give me a definitive answer. Since the specs for the S&S belt are identical, I'm just going to send this one and hope I didn't just waste the coin. I'll put the part number in the description. Oh yeah. That belt is perfect. Yes. If I'm happy, you're happy. As I'm putting the plastic covers back on, I'm applying a plastic rejuvenator, which leaves a sheen and quality look to the plastics. So finishing up day one with this bike with good results. I'm going to end part 1 of this series there. Next episode, I'll be trying to get the engine firing on all cylinders, so to be sure to ring that bell so you don't miss that. Let me know what you thought in the comments, or if you have any questions. Ride safe guys, and keep going.